Sir, can you hear me, sir?
ओके ओके सर ओके ओके और पता हेडफोन
Okay.
कनेक्ट अभी Sir, can you hear our audio? Yes, sir. But
Sir, can you hear our audio?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
From where, sir?
From my headset.
Sir, sir, yes, sir. We are hearing now. Yeah, we can start, sir.
இது வச்சிருங்க இது வழியா தான் கேட்குது இந்த மாதிரி
Sir, ஐயோ காலை கட் பண்ணிட்டாரு. ஹலோ சார், அதுலேயே கேட்டுதே சார். ஓகே சார்.
எஸ் சார்
சார் மட்டும் கேட்கணும்.
Can you hear me?
எஸ் சார்
Oh, start.
Sir, I'll just give an intro.
Sorry.
Just a moment, sir. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of SRMIST School of Computing, it's been a great pleasure to invite Mr. Valluri Satyarao, Technical Account Manager, Dell Software and Technologies. His domain is Cloud Proxy. Today, we are going to have an expert talk about the OS layers and their functions. So kindly be present to the session, sir. So now I hand over the session to Satyarao, sir. Sir, now you can take over, sir.
Yeah. Hello, all. Can you hear me now? My voice, everything is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. I think the students cannot talk to me, right?
Yes, sir. They can message you.
Okay. I can see it on the chat box, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. No worries. Just 1 minute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
I'll start. Okay, all. So, hello all. Very good morning. So, my name is Satya. I have overall 8 years of experience into the networking. So started my career with consumer support with CSS.com. There I was into supporting for home netgear routers, which was in US. Okay, which is in the consumer support. For example, if you see the routers in your home, right, home wireless routers, how it works. When you're trying connecting to the Wi-Fi, how it works, right? So that's the technology which I'm working at. Started with the wireless technology. And based on our internally, I moved to newspaper SRX, and after that, I was into network automation project as well. And after that, I moved to Dell. And here, in terms of OSI layer, I was into L1, L2, L3. So we'll discuss that in some time. Okay. So that was my overall career, and now I moved into a cloud platform, which is a cloud security, and I'm working here as a TAM technical account manager, supporting the routers, switches, and firewalls, and as well as with the cloud as well. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Thanks to the SRM and thanks to Jayaraj sir, for giving this opportunity, in interacting with the students in a live demo, which is amazing experience for me. But still, I'll do my best here, and I'll make sure the concept of OSI model. What I believe most of the people here computer background. computer background students, you might be knowing what is OSI layer, but today I'm going to teach you about OSI layer in a practical way. So you might know what is OSI layer, but here, whatever the experience, I'm carrying like 8 years of experience, okay? So what I've seen is OSI models in terms of practical. So what you see in the real time, I'll show you the real time in some time. Okay. So let's get started. Before that, if you have any doubts, you can post your comments in the chat box. Okay. So I'll help you. I know I'll be replying or I'll be, giving you the answers here. So I hope everyone can see my screen, right? You cannot talk to me, right? I'm sorry. So let's start with an OSI model. So today's agenda is like how the OSI model works and what is OSI model. Why do they develop this OSI model? And we have to know whether this OSI model still exists in the network or not. Simple, guys. When you are in the networking domain, if anyone wants to pursue their career in networking, okay, the OSI is the fundamental concept. So if you ask me, if you know the OSI model, you can make the wonders. Because it makes your troubleshooting easy. It makes you to understand the concepts. As being a network engineer, you have to troubleshoot. If you know the OSI model, if you know how these layers work together, so trust me, guys, 50% of your networking is completed, and you don't need to learn anything. I mean, your 50% of networking is completed if you know the OSI model. Because you will see what is the importance and why is OSI model is that much of important, why I'm giving, putting pressure on this OSI model and all, you will see that later. So let's quickly start with an OSI model. See guys, as you see here, what is OSI model? What is the history of OSI model? I'll tell you now. So guys, if you see, I believe that everyone can see my screen, right? Jairaj sir, can you confirm me on this one?
Yes, sir.
My screen is visible. Right?
Yes, sir. Your screen is clearly visible, sir.
Yeah. So when you talk about OSI model, right? OSI stands for the Open System Interconnection, and this OSI model was developed in the year of 1984 by the ISO, International Organization for Standardization. But before getting into the definition of OSI model, why this OSI model is introduced? What is the reason behind this? Guys, if you see here, this OSI model was developed in the year of 1984. Okay, so before 1984, how is the communication is going to happen? So that is what we're going to see quickly and something here. Jairaj sir, can you confirm me that you're able to see my paint, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So before 1984, how the network architectures, how it I'll give you some, quick overview of that one. Okay, see guys, this is before 1984. Okay, so and before 1984, you have the computers. So you have some servers, you have some switches, not advanced switches, not advanced routers. You have some switches. So this is one, server. In those days, the popular brands like, Intel, IBM, okay, these are all the popular brands. Okay, maybe I'm just taking Intel server, okay. And you have a lot of computers are there. Okay, if you see the computers, right, you know what is computer and all. So we have laptops. Even those days also we have computers which was introduced by the Charles Babbage. We all know that. We have studied from the childhood onwards, so I don't want to discuss about the computers. And if you see the computers in those times, and if you want to communicate with any one of the web server, okay, let's take it in Intel. When you type something, right, okay, so if you see the modern computers right now, inside your computer, for example, my computer is Lenovo computer. But if I see the parts inside the computer, like my motherboard is from the Flextronics. If I see my wireless adapters or wired adapters, it is from the Intel. Okay. If I see SMPS, it's from different companies. These are the different vendors. Okay, and make it as a one single product and brand it as a Lenovo laptop, and they are selling it in the market. But and even if you see the OS operating system is from the Microsoft. In those days, if Lenovo computer, for example, this is my Lenovo computer. For example, computer can only talk to the IBM computer. Okay, so inside all the components inside your IBM, it should be the same. Okay, so one IBM computer can only talk to this another IBM computer. If you have a HP computer or Intel computer at the time, so the IBM computer cannot talk to the HP or Intel computer. So the only one vendor device can communicate with the other vendor device. So I'm repeating it again. One vendor device. For example, Intel computer is that Intel can only talk with Intel computers. Okay, and Intel servers are there. This Intel server can only talk with the Intel servers only, not with any other servers. Okay, so this is an interoperability issue. Okay, this is an interoperability issue. To avoid such type of issue, because it's very difficult to manufacture all components inside your IBM. So all it's very difficult to manage and to manufacture all the components. Like I said before, if you see my Lenovo laptop, right, I have the Flextronics motherboard and SSDs from different vendors and adapters from Intel and Microsoft OS. These are different vendors and manufactured under by the Lenovo laptop and branded as Lenovo, and they're selling in the market. Okay, so in those days it's not like that. All the components are from same company, so that one IBM vendor can talk to another IBM vendor only. So the two different vendors, they cannot talk to each other. So to avoid such type of issues, that is why they developed this OSI model. This is the history of the OSI model. Okay, so if anyone asks you what is the use of this OSI model, simply you can say to avoid the interoperability issues. Okay, this is one of the main reasons. That's why the ISO has designed this OSI model. So the first problem is like interoperability issue. The one vendor cannot communicate with another vendor. This is the reason, okay, the OSI model has been introduced. Okay, and this OSI model, so what exactly the OSI model? So right now what is the use of developing this, introducing this OSI model? Now we are going to see what is OSI model and what does it tell you. If you see the definition, right, OSI model, what needs to be sent from one data needs to be sent from one computer to another computer. For example, see, I have two computers like this. Okay, this is computer A and this is computer B. Okay, so I have Ram and Lakshman. Okay, so if Ram wants to communicate with this Lakshman, right, this is a Ram computer and this is a Lakshman computer. If they want to talk to each other, so how data needs to be sent from one computer to another computer, that is what your OSI model is telling. Okay, that is what your OSI model is telling. Okay, so what is the use of this OSI model? To avoid interoperability issues. That's why they developed this OSI model. And what OSI model is telling now? OSI model is telling you how the data is being sent. For example, when you're sending an email from Ram computer to the Lakshman computer, okay, so this OSI model is going to construct the headers, which we will discuss that in later part. This OSI model is going to construct the headers and construct the headers and transfer the data from this computer to the other computer. That is what your OSI is telling. So if you see this definition, what I wrote, OSI model, the outlines what needs to be sent and how the data needs to be sent from one computer to another computer. And if you see this one more point, protocol stack. See, networking is all about the protocols. Okay, networking is all about the protocols. When you're typing something on the browser, for example, so I'm just typing www.amazon.com. When I'm typing amazon.com, right? So what is happening? Okay, to display this web page, okay, there are a lot of protocols that are working. Okay, that we will discuss that later part. So that is what. So networking is all about the protocols. Okay, so in each layer there are some protocols that will work to display this web page. For example, we know there are 7 layers in OSI layers. Okay, each layer they're having separate, different protocols that works to get this web page. So transmission is nothing but, to display this web page. For example, see, I'm just typing Amazon.com. How my web page is displaying? What is happening at the back end to display this web page in terms of networking? Okay, so this is the real networking. Okay, there are a lot of protocols. I can say like 6 to there are so many protocols which will work at the back end to display this web page. We will see that later. I don't want to say right now. Okay, guys, any questions so far? All clear? Okay. So if you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat box. I'm just going into the next topic. Okay. So as I discussed, so this OSI model consists of 7 layers. Okay. So we starts from the physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport, session, presentation, and application. So when you see in the textbooks, okay, or you might have seen, you might have studied in the online or in the textbooks, right? So if you see the OSI model, there are few people who will start from the physical layer and data link layer, network layer, transport session. They will start from bottom to top. Okay, so it's not absolutely wrong. You can also start like that. But my way of teaching is like I always start from the application layer onwards. So there is a reason why I'm talking from the application layer. So you can also start from the physical layer, but I don't want to go with the physical layer and explain you because in real time, for example, again, I'm just typing Amazon.com. So where I'm typing is Amazon.com in the browser. Okay, so this browser works in the application layer. So that is why I'm going to start with the application layer onwards. Let's see now what is happening at the application layer. Okay, so if you see this application layer, right, it is the end user application. See, it's nothing but so what is happening here now? See, I have my computer. Okay, this is my computer, guys. Okay, so I'm the user. Okay, now there's a browser is there. This is the browser. Okay, I'm just typing it for you, and I'm just typing Amazon.com, www.amazon.com. So if you see, right, see, I'm the user. Okay, I'm the user. I'm interacting with the application. Which application? Browser application. So this browser works in which layer? Application layer. So that is why I'm starting from the application layer onwards. You can also start from the physical layer, but when it comes to the real time, right, it won't start from the physical layer. It will start from the application layer because, as I told you right now, when you open a Google Chrome, when you open a browser, you're typing something. So which means that the user is interacting with the browser. Browser works in application. That's why it is starting from the application layer onwards. Okay. So what this user is doing? This user just opened the browser. Okay. The browser is an application layer product. Okay. And I'm just typing www.amazon.com. When you type www.amazon.com, what is happening here, guys? What is happening? So, if you see this one now, there is an Amazon server which is in United States. Or, let's take it for example, which is in USA. There is a, which is in, there is a Virginia, which is a state in United States, the Virginia data center. In this Virginia data center, we have this Amazon server. And I'm staying in Chennai, okay? And I'm connecting to this one Amazon server. We have multiple, routers which will be there. Okay? These are all the routers for your preference, or I'm just writing. Okay? So when I'm typing, so the user is typing in the browser, okay? So when the user is typing in the browser, Amazon.com, which means the user is interacting with the application. browser application, and this browser application which is interacting with the application layer protocol. Okay, so what is this application layer protocol? As I mentioned, if you see this slide, okay, protocol stack, how data is prepared for transmission. Okay, now what is happening in application layer now? Okay, so the user is interacting with the application, browser application, which in turn interacts with the application, application server with the help of HTTP protocol, okay, or HTTPS protocol, HTTP or HTTPS. Right now, there is a difference between HTTP and HTTPS. We're not getting into that topic because each protocol, they have their own function and lengthy, a lengthy process. If you want me to explain about HTTP and HTTP, it takes a lot of time. But for time being, the difference between HTTP and basic difference is when you're sending a traffic via HTTP site, it goes in a plain text. When you send the traffic via HTTPS site, it is a secure. Okay, so we will see that one. Okay, in real time. So for example, let's see if you have a green padlock symbol, which means your connection is secure and it's a HTTPS connection. If you see here, HTTPS means it is secure, hypertext transfer protocol with security. HTTP is not secure. Okay, so what is happening here in application layer? The user is interacting with the application, and which is this application, browser application, which in turn interacts with the application layer, application server with the help of the HTTP protocol. So this HTTP is going to connect with the web server. That is what it is happening in the application layer. That is what is happening in the application layer. So any questions, guys? So far in the application, are you clear with this one? If you have any questions, please put your comments in the chat box. And one more thing, guys. Not only these two protocols, there are so many protocols which will come in the application layer. If you are aware of it, just can you please put it in the chat box? I'll give you like 20 seconds of time. Come on, guys. Anything as for, you can put your comments. Anyone commented? No? So there are these two protocols, that will work in application layer. There are some other protocols if you are aware of it, or you can also say no as well, because I just want to know whether you people are here or not. That's it. Who is that game forever? No? Okay. So, no comments. So, there are some other protocols as well as like DNS, DHCP. Okay. These are the protocols works in the application layer. Okay. So, now, next. So, this is what will happen in the purpose of application layer, which is going to interact with the application layer protocols. Okay, like HTTP and HTTPS, and you will get the response. That's it. Now, let's come back to the presentation layer. So, what is happening at the presentation layer? See, you're typing it in the browser, okay, and first the application layer protocols will be generated like HTTP or HTTPS and comes to the presentation layer. So, let's go back to the slide now. Okay, now in the presentation layer. So, what is happening in the presentation layer? So, here, what I mentioned here, it ensures the data is readable by the receiving system and formatting of data. For example, see guys, I'm talking to you. So this is a broadcast stream. Okay, I'm talking to you over, on my phone. Okay, this is a broadcast media. Okay, so I'm talking to you in English. Okay, what else if I talk in Spanish? You won't be able to understand. Okay, so if I'm talking in Spanish, there should be some translator. Okay, there should be some translator and to convert the Spanish into English so that you can able to understand. Okay, so what this presentation layer is doing now? whatever the data you're sending it by the sending system has to be understood by the receiving system. For example, this guy is trying, he wants, okay, I will show you now in a real-time scenario. So I'm just typing Amazon.com. Okay, I'm just typing Amazon.com. If you see this one, right, as I mentioned in the application layer, HTTP request is going to be get generated, which means that the browser, if you see this one, this is the application layer header generated with HTTPS protocol. So this browser, which means that I'm the user, okay, this browser is requesting for this Amazon.com. Okay, Amazon.com. And if you see a little bit scroll down, it is, what is the language it is asking? It is asking for the English language, which is in the US. Okay, so once this response, okay, so this guy, HTTP request is generated and sending it to the server. Okay, this guy is asking for the content. Content has to be delivered in English language. Okay, so this guy, so when you see this Amazon server, this guy has English, Spanish, Japan, okay, and French. All these languages contents are available for the Amazon.com. Okay, for the Amazon.com, when it comes to the server, right? So server can able to produce the content. Content in the sense is, this is the content. You will see the display web page, right? This is the web page. Okay. So when this guy is sending Amazon.com, this user is telling, I want the content to be presented in English language. So this guy is having English, Spanish, Japan, and French. So whatever the data you're sending it from sending application, it has to be understood by the receiving application. Your receiving application has English and it's going to present the data or present the content in English language. That is what the presentation layer is doing that. Not only that, not only that, it is also doing a data compression and also doing encryption and decryption. One of the very, very important, guys, these two things. Data compression. Guys, can you see, I'm just drafting an email, okay? Can I attach like 1 GB of data over an email? No, it is not possible. 1 GB or 2 GB of data? No, it is not possible. Either we have to extract or we have to archive those files. No, not archive. We have to extract those files and we have to send it. Okay? So, which means you're shrinking the data and you're sending it. If you have a huge number of files, you cannot send it in a one email. You cannot share more than 1 GB of data over an email. What you have to do is you'll be shrinking it. You'll be extracting those data. Okay, by using some, zip. You'll be using some zip, 7-zip. These are the tools. What these tools will help you now? See, I have this zip. See, I have this 7-zip file manager. If you see this one now, what will happen? This 7-zip, if you have a huge data, okay, if you have more than 1 GB of data, so what does it do? It's going to shrink the data and it's send it. This is what it is doing by the presentation layer. This is one of the services which is offering by the presentation layer. So what presentation layer is doing? So it ensures that whatever the data you're sending it from sending application has to be understood by the receiving application. And also it is also doing the data compressions, which means that it's going to shrink the data and send it. If you have data, more data, if you want to send from one computer to another computer or computer to server, right? It is going to shrink the data and send it. And what do you mean by encryption, decryption services? Let's talk about now encryption, decryption. So for time being, see guys, this is an Amazon server, okay? Or let's take it, this is a HDFC net banking. This is a HDFC bank server. HDFC bank server, okay? Guys, when you open www.netbanking.com, right? See, I'm just typing HDFC net banking. When I type HDFC net banking, what is happening? I'm just entering the username. Okay, and I'm entering the password. Guys, if you see this password, you cannot see this password because this is an encrypted one. This is an encrypted. So what is happening here now? So for example, so I just typed hdfcnetbanking.com. So the request has went to this bank server. Okay, this request went to this bank server. Okay, HDFC. Now this bank server will be replying back. Okay, so it is asking you to enter the username. So you enter the username, and once the username is sent out, right, and it will be asking for the password. Okay, guys, now this is the challenging thing here. Okay, see, you're sending the password over the public network. See, this is a public network, which means that anyone can see your data. See, there is a hacker. Okay, so you have a hacker here. Okay, so there is a hacker. So if you are sending the data, okay, for example, my password is like pineapple.
Sir, just a moment, sir. Your screen was not visible, sir.
My screen is not visible.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Now, paint is open. Can you see the paint?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what this let me repeat this presentation. Okay. So presentation layer is also doing some encryption and decryption services. What is this encryption and decryption services that we are doing it right now? So I am the user. I'm just typing HDFC Net Banking in my browser. When I type HDFC Net Banking, right? So it is asking for the username and the password. So literally, guys, you're sending a username and password over the untrusted network, which means that untrusted means it's a public network. So there is a hacker, he can steal your password. So he can see your password so that he can make a request on behalf of you. And then he can log into your HDFC Net Banking. So what is the presentation layer will do here? Presentation layer is going to do some security services. What type of security services? For example, you're sending this password, right? So this password will be get encrypted. Okay. So first of all, it will be, how it will be get encrypted. First of all, this is the password. This will be converted into some binary numbers. Okay. And from binary numbers, it will be converted to encrypted format. So like some encrypted format like that. So that this hacker cannot, even if he sees this password, he cannot able to decrypt it. Okay, the only guy who can able to decrypt is your HDFC server, because this server is having a private key. With the help of the private key, he can able to decrypt this password. Okay, so that's what your presentation layer is doing. So what and all the presentation layer is doing, it ensures that whatever the data you're sending is from the sending application, it's understood by the receiving application, and also it's going to compress the data. So you're sending a huge number of data from one piece to another piece, right? So it is doing some, some services, okay? And also, it's doing some encryption and decryption, as I just mentioned right now, but encrypting the data. So guys, any questions? Any questions on this one? Clear with this concept of, application and presentation? I hope that you got it. Okay. Now let's move on to the session layer. So what does the session layer will do? Guys, if you see here the session layer, okay, it's going to maintain the session. So I'm just typing Amazon.com. So the purpose of the session layer is to establish, manage, and terminate the session. So when you're establishing the session, for example, I'm just opening your Amazon.com. So it's going to establish the session. Okay, this is my Amazon.com. Amazon.com, right? What is my session layer is doing? It's going to establish the session. And, I'm just browsing here. I'm just surfing this Amazon.com, and it's going to manage. And I'm logging out from the session, and it's going to terminate the session. So that is what your session layer is doing. And apart from that, there are other services that session layer is also doing, which is very, very important. Session layer is not only establish, maintain, and terminate the session, but it is also doing one the major thing, which is very, very important. It's nothing but, for example, here, I open 3 tabs. The first tab, I open Amazon.com. In the second tab, I just open YouTube.com. In the third tab, I open net banking, HDFC net banking. So there should be some software in the backend. See, this is my computer. I open this first browser, okay, and I open Amazon, and this is YouTube, and this is HDFC net banking. So there should be some software, okay. There should be some software. That software is responsible in giving the right data. For example, if you type Amazon.com, the Amazon page has to be get displayed. If you type YouTube.com, YouTube page has to be get displayed. If you type HDFCNetbanking.com, HDFC page has to be get displayed. So who is responsible for displaying this web page? That is what your session layer is doing. Session layer is responsible for, displaying the right page when the user is typing. Okay, clear, guys? Okay. Now, not only that, there's one more important, is authentication and authorization. Session layer is going to authenticate the user. For example, just real-time examples. You went to one restaurant, and if you want to use the Wi-Fi, what you will do? You will be connecting it, right? You will be connecting and enter the username and the password. So, which means that you are an authenticated user. Once you're authenticated, okay, then only it's able to allow you to connect to the internet on your hotel. When you're on the, when you went to a hotel, right, if it is asking for user, if you want to connect to the internet, okay, then this is how, if once you're authenticated, then the Wi-Fi allows you to connect to the internet. So that is what the session layer will look. That's just an example I told you. Session, if you want to access any applications, right, so you should be an authenticated user. Okay, so session layer is responsible for doing that. So any questions? Any questions, guys? Okay. So I'm just going with the next thing. So we just discussed about the first 3. Okay. So guys, when you're typing something on the browser, so you're interacting with the application layer product. Browser becomes an application layer. So guys, here till now it is a raw data. This is called as a PDUs. Because you're typing something on the browser, right? Which means that you want to put some data. You want to get, for example. Let me open this Amazon.com. You're typing Amazon.com. So what is happening in the application is your request is going to be generated. Okay. So which means data is going to get generated in application, in presentation, in session layer. Okay. So this data is generated in all these layers, right? So this is a raw data. Raw data. So this is called as a PDUs protocol. This is called as a PDUs. So the data in application, presentation, session layer, right? Okay. This is a raw data, and this is called as your PDUs. okay, it's cut down into small. The raw data is come down to the transport layer, and it's going to do, it will be, it's going to cut down the data, and this is called as a segments. Okay, so what is happening at the transport layer? Okay, so transport layer is responsible, okay, to send the data in a reliable or unreliable. Only the major protocols which will work here, two major protocols work in transport layer. Those are nothing but TCP and UDP. Okay, so who is going to decide? Okay, the application layer the transport layer has to decide whether the data has to send in a reliable or unreliable. If it's a reliable it is a TCP. If it is an unreliable it is a UDP. Okay, so once again, if it is a reliable, it's a TCP. If it's unreliable, it is a UDP. Good. Now, on what basis the transport layer will decide whether I have to send whether TCP connection or UDP connection? So it is based on the application layer protocol. Now I just typed Amazon.com. Okay, so what it is doing in application layer, which is interacting with the web server. Web server protocol numbers like port 80 and 443. Those are HTTP and HTTPS. So this HTTP and HTTPS are TCP protocols. Okay, so that is why we are using TCP. So when the raw data comes down to the transport, we get segmented, and the transport layer has to decide whether it has to go with TCP or UDP. How it is decided? Based on the application layer protocol. In the application layer, if you are using TCP protocols like HTTP or HTTPS, right, then it's going to send via TCP. In application layer, if you're using UDP based protocols now, then it is going to choose UDP, which is an unreliable. That's it. That is the job of the transport layer. It's just going to decide how data needs to be sent from how data needs to be sent, whether it's reliable or unreliable. Any questions? Any questions, guys? And my screen is visible, right, guys?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. Now let's come back to the network layer. So what is happening at the network layer? Now again, see, now the segmented data is come down to the network layer. Okay, so what is happening now here? The segmented data will be cut down. Again, so this data came here, it will be cut down into smaller pieces. Okay, so this segmented data is called as once the data is segmented in the transport layer, the segmented data will come from the network layer. These are called as a packets. Okay, this is called as a packet. Now, what will happen in the network layer that we will see? Okay. See, guys, if you come back to this diagram, so what is happening here? I told you this Amazon server, which is in United States. Okay, so I'm staying in Chennai. Okay, and I want to connect to the Amazon business server. So I have to go. I cannot physically travel and go, right? Okay, so here what I have to do with the help of the routers. Okay, so what routers now we have to know what is the job of the router here. So what routers will do now? Routers will provide a path to reach to the destination. If you want to connect from one network to different network. For example, if you see, I'm staying in my home in Chennai and I've connected to my hardware Wi-Fi, and I'm getting an IP address of 192.168.1.10. Okay, this is my computer IP address, and I have to connect to the Amazon server, which is in United States. So I have to take this packet. Okay, the packet will go with the router. So what router will do? Router will search for the best path to reach to the destination. Okay, it provides the routing. What does the router will do? It provides the routing and finds the best path to reach to the destination. For example, you're staying in Chennai, and if you want to go to Bangalore, how you will go? You can travel by a train or you can travel by a bus. If you want to go via Chennai to Bangalore, right, you have to take the national highway and you have to go. But that is the shortest path. But maybe you can come like Krishnagiri or some other places. I'm not sure. Okay, there is a route. Okay, but if you're going, from Chennai, if you go to Madurai, and from Madurai it is going to Bangalore, that takes a lot of time, and the distance, that is not the best path. So if you want to go to Chennai, you have to take the national highway and go to the Bangalore. But you cannot go down to the Madurai, and from Madurai you have to take the national highway. No, that's not the right way, right? So what the router is doing here, the router is going to provide a best path to reach to the destination. So I'm trying to connect into the Amazon server. Okay, so there should be some route. Okay, you will be having so many routes to reach from Chennai to Bangalore. But what is the best possible route where you can go? That is what your router is doing here. What is the best path to reach to the Amazon server, which is in the United States? That is what your network layer is doing that. Okay. Any questions in network layer, guys? All right. Now come back to the data link layer. So the data link layer, what is happening now? So again, come back to this diagram. So this is the packets. So this packets, okay, this data is coming to the data link layer, and data link, again, the data will be cut down into small data. This is called as a frames. Okay, so this is called as a, see, if you see this raw data is coming to the transporter as a segment, from segments to packets to frames. So what is happening in data link layer? So in data link layer, there are two layers, there are two sub layers. Okay, so one is media access control and one is logical link control. What is this media access control layer is doing now? See, guys, you're getting the packets to data link layer and just converting it to frames. The media access control, there are two sub layers in data link layer. Those two sub layers are MAC and LLC. The MAC is, what this MAC is doing, it gives the data to the NIC. NIC is nothing but the network interface card. Okay, so this MAC sublayer, the MAC sublayer, is responsible for converting the frames into bits and bytes and giving it to the NIC. How it is doing it now? This is my computer, okay, and I've just typed Amazon.com. So each and every layer, okay, each and every layer has some protocol behavior is happening. And if you see my computer, right, it's connected to Wi-Fi or wired network. If it's connected to wired network, right, there will be a network adapter. Okay, network adapter. Inside the computer, right, all the things will be generated. When it comes to the data link layer is responsible for, in the data link layer you have an MAC sublayer. This MAC sublayer is responsible for converting the frames into bits and bytes and give it to this NIC, network interface card. Okay, so that is what your MAC sublayer gives the data to NIC. And you have LLC, logical link control. What is the LLC is doing now? It is acting as the interface between the physical layer and network layer. And also one important thing that LLC is doing now. So you're getting the data from the network layer to data link layer. In the data link layer, the MAC is responsible for converting the frames and give it to the NIC. And whatever data is coming, right, this LLC sublayer is responsible to check whether the data is corrupted or not by doing a CRC check. That is called as a cyclic redundancy check. Okay, so see, you're getting some data from the network layer to the data link layer. What is data link layer in LLC sublayer is doing? It is responsible whatever the data is received, is it corrupted or not. How it's going to do? It's going to do some CRC check. This CRC is nothing but cyclic redundancy check. Okay, so it is just an algorithm, right? It is going to run this algorithm and it's going to check whether the packet is valid or not. Once it is valid, it allows. If it is not valid, it's going to drop the packet. That is what it is doing. And next it comes to the physical layer. So what is happening at physical layer now? See, as I mentioned, this max of layer gives the data to NIC. So from NIC, there is a wire cable is connected. And how the data will be carrying here now in the forms of bits and bytes, like 1010. Okay, so it's a physical media. It's a cable. It's an Ethernet cable. Okay, how the data will travel here in the form of bits and bytes. For example, guys, if you see your computers, right, how computers will be connected now. Sure, this is my computer. Let's talk about wired networking. There is a network interface card, and there is an Ethernet cable which will be connected to the switch. Okay, so this is an Ethernet cable. Or this is an RJ45 or Ethernet RJ45 cable. So the max of layer is responsible gives the data to NIC. And how the data will go now? The data will go in the form of, like, if you see the real time now, it will be like 101010. This is how the data will go to the switch. And from switch, it will go to the router. From router, it will go to the ISP router, and it will go to the internet. From internet, it will go to the, Amazon server. Okay, so that is the job of this physical layer. So what physical layer is doing? Here, the data will be carrying, bits and bytes. Okay, all the cabling stuffs that will be there. This cabling is nothing but, the Ethernet cable and or wireless, whatever it is, all these things which will come in physical layers. If you see a wires, connectors, voltage, data rates, and all. Okay, so that is the overall concept of this OSI model, and we saw the each layer how it works and all. Okay, and if you see this one right here, how this actually is OSI, as I mentioned in the agenda, right? How these layers will work together. Okay. Okay. So as I mentioned here, see, this is, if you want to communicate from one computer to another computer, this is host is nothing but the computer. So as I mentioned, when you type something in the browser, right, first it's going to interact with it. Your user interacts with the application layer protocols. User interacts with the browser, and browser interacts with the application layer protocol. Okay. And similarly, as I mentioned, if you see this one right here, yeah, you see, there's a PDUs will be there in the raw data. Okay, in the first 3 layers, it will be a PDUs. The raw data will come down to the transport layer and will be converted to segments, and segmented data will be converted into packets, and packets into frames, and frames into bits and bytes. When it comes to the physical layer, right, the data will go in form of bits and bytes. Okay, so this approach, okay, so you're typing in the browser, and it is all the way going from application to physical layer. This is called as an encapsulation. Okay, so the when you're typing something else and here, and this is called encapsulation. See, I want to send an email from one computer to another computer. Okay, so what is happening here? I will go all this process. This is the encapsulation. And when it comes to this computer B, right, it won't start from the application layer. It will start from the physical layer. Again, the bits and bytes will go from this PC to this PC. Okay, and the bytes will be converted to frames, frames into packets, packets to segments, segments to raw data. So the approach from bottom to top is called as the decapsulation. So this is called as the decapsulation. Okay. So from top to bottom, it's called an encapsulation. From bottom to top, it's called decapsulation. Okay. That's how it will be working in a OSM model. So any questions, you can post it down. I'll be happy to answer. questions, guys? Jared sir, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So this is the overall behavior of this OSI model. I can also explain you in the real time, as I mentioned, how it's converting into segments to packets. Okay. I can also show you, but due to time constraints,
Sure,
we
sir.
have only 1 hour window. So that's why I'm not able to show. Otherwise, I'm happy to show you. And I can also show you the picture size like 1010 format as well.
Sure, sir. We'll have a hands-on session, sir, in future. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, if you have any questions, you can you can put your comments here, or you can just drop in an email to Jairaj sir, and he will be forwarding to me, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Yes, yes, sir.
So
Definitely,
that's all
definitely,
from
sir.
my side.
Okay, sir. Now I conclude, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this presentation, sir. Now the
Yeah.
students and ourselves have now get some knowledge about the OSI and its functioning, sir. Now I need to thank Dr. Annapurni ma'am, sir. She is the professor and head of Department of Network and Communication. She has been insisting us
Okay.
to do this kind of expert talk to the students, and I convey my thanks to Dr. P. Madhavan, sir, associate professor from CTech department, sir. He was the one who has been in a great support for our organizing. And last but not least, Dr. M. Prakash, associate professor. He's from my department, sir, data science and business system. He was been with me and constantly supporting me till the end of the session. I thank Prakash, sir. I thank each and everyone. And personally, I thank you, sir, Satyarao, sir. Surely we'll have a hands-on session in networking in future, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much for the SRM, for giving this opportunity. And I would say thankful to Jairaj sir for communicating with me and giving this opportunity to talk to the and interact with students. I'm hoping so. Instead of this online interaction, I would preferably go with the physical interaction with the students.
Definitely,
so
sir.
Definitely we see that in future, and we make this as like more and more interesting thing, because when you see in practically how things are working, right, that's how the more knowledge you can get it. So yeah, that's it, guys. We'll see that in future. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
I'm dropping off.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.